Welcome back to the Voice of Mathematics. In our today's lesson, we're going to look at the relationship between the formula method and the completing the square method by us deducing the formula method from ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 using the completing the square method. For us to answer this question, first and foremost, you have to understand the steps that are involved in the completing the square method, where we know to say, I'll say step 1 is first we have to arrange the quadratic equation in order, and since we have that quadratic equation which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, I have to arrange that one in order. Let me write it. Okay, since I know that the quadratic equation, the equation there is in order, the next step is I have to take the constant, which is c there, to the right hand side of the equation. Okay, since the constant c is to the right hand side of the equation and it's negative, so we have ax squared plus bx equals negative c. And let's go to the next step, where we say I have to make sure the constant, or rather the coefficient of x squared, which is the constant a there, is not greater than 1. And by me doing that, I have to divide everything, or the entire equation, by a. And let me do it. Yes, that's what I have there. X squared plus b over a x equals negative c over a. And when I go to the next step, which says I have to have the coefficient of x, square the result, and add the square to both sides of the equation. Let me do it. Okay, that's what I've done there. So I have x squared plus b over ax plus b over open bracket b over 2a close bracket squared equals negative c over a plus open bracket b over 2a close bracket squared. That's what I have done there. And let me just work it out. Let me simplify that one. Okay, from there I did x squared plus b over ax plus b squared over 4a squared equals negative c over a plus b squared over 4a squared. And looking at the right hand side, those are constants, we can add them, so I added them, and I came up with x squared plus b over ax plus b squared over 4a squared equals b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. And the next step says factorize the left hand side of the equation. Factorize the left hand side of the equation. Let me do it. Okay, factorizing the left hand side, I have x plus b over 2a, everything in the brackets, squared equals b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. And the next step says square root both sides of the equation. Square root both sides of the equation. Let me work it. Let me work on it. Okay, square rooting the both sides, I have x plus b over 2a equals the square root of everything there to the right hand side is b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. And then working on the right hand side part, using the rules of indices, we will know to say we square root the upper the upper values over the square root of the lower values, or the numerators and the denominators. So when we work that one out, let me do it. I will have x plus b over 2a equals plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac everything over 2a. And the next step is I should take the constant which is on the left hand side of the equation to the right hand side of the equation, so that I can find the values of x with the plus and minus roots. Let me work it out. Okay, I will have x equals negative b over 2a plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, and working on the right hand side, or I will have, let me show you, x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So from this point we can understand now the relationship between the formula method and the completing the square method. That's what we can find when we actually deduce the formula method from any quadratic equation using the completing square method. Thank you so much. This has been the Voice of Mathematics. May God bless you all. See you in the next lesson.